Hey guys, what's going on? This is your old pal CHH. I hope everybody's having a good day. My week could be better, but whose couldn't be, right? There's always something going on. Anyway, guys, it is cool to talk about a classic. I'm talking about the classic 80s anthology Creepshow 2. Now, the thing I love about Creepshow 2 is it feels so different than the first Creepshow in more ways than one. And what's so interesting about it is how the first Creepshow genuinely, to me, feels like you're reading or watching a comic book. And the second one, to me, always felt more like, you know, grade school campfire stories, especially with the soundtrack. The soundtrack is vastly different than the Creepshow 1 soundtrack. The Creepshow 1 soundtrack has this kind of punch to it. It's not fast, but like, for instance, that dun, 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 it's just this punching keyboard. Where in Creepshow 2, it's really whimsical. It's windy sounding. It just sounds like kids telling campfire stories. And then you look at the actual stories of Creepshow 2. All of them seem like things I would think about as a kid. For instance, like, what if that statue in front of the store came to life and there he is right there, got revenge on the death of the clerk of the general store, old Chief Woodenhead. It's something so out of a kid's mind to me. Or the raft especially. I mean, I could just imagine being on one of those on a lake and envisioning a big blob coming towards me trying to kill me. It just seems like something that would happen when you're a kid. The Hitchhiker, on the other hand, does seem like an adult sequence, especially, you know, in nature when you watch it. But I love Creepshow 2. Man, I love the first Creepshow, but I love Creepshow 2. I think Creepshow 2, there are definitely people that think it's better than the first one. I don't know which one I like better. There are days where I like 1 better, and then there's days where I like 2 better. There's never days where I like 3 the most. You know, I don't know anybody that loves Creepshow 3. There are people that like Creepshow 3. I'll say that. I do know some people that say it's nowhere near as bad as people say. But what are you going to do? You know, that's Creepshow 3 for you. Anyway, guys, so this is really exciting. We're finally talking about a 4K for this film. Obviously, there's some unexciting things about it as well. And just to be absolutely, positively clear, Hellbender was the first title that I actually got sent to me. I said I would always try to be transparent about this stuff. So Hellbender was the first Arrow title that got sent to me through my friends at MVD, and this is the second one. But the beauty is, and you know, the thing I love about MVD is they've never told me I had to lie. I mean, it broke my heart when I had to trash that Trancers 4K. I remember telling my guy at MVD, I was like, man, I'm really sorry. I got nothing good to say about it. He's like, don't lie, you know. So I just want to be completely upfront about that. I try to be as transparent as possible. If something gets sent to me, there's no reason for me to want to hide it. But that being said, let's get into Creepshow 2 on 4K and talk about the physical aspects of it. So here is the Blu-ray version. Now, this came out in like 2016. This was one of the first movies I pre-ordered off of Amazon, believe it or not. I had finally kind of bit the bullet and became an Amazon person. You'll notice it's kind of holographic. Here's the 4K. They decided to ditch that and go with more of a matte look. It's brighter and... Actually, it's not matte. That's kind of like almost this kind of... the material of matte is a different look. I wouldn't call it matte necessarily, but that gloss is gone. And I put this 4K sticker on the box just so you can see it on there. It's on the wrap, but also so I don't get confused. So I don't get confused, I guess. But here's the difference between the two, just visually. The first thing I'd say is, yeah, this is amazing art. Who doesn't love this? This art's really cool. You would not have anybody bat an eye, probably, at wanting to upgrade this if you just did it differently. Or change the color palette. I remember there was like this rare kind of green one that they did for like a reissue because Creepshow 2 sold so well. Or initially there was a purple one overseas. Why don't you swap that up? Let the American one be the purple one and then let the UK one be the red one. You could have swapped that up, but they didn't. They just kind of stuck with it. They ditched the holographic look. Like I said, this one's just kind of a shade brighter. So that's that. The backs are identical as well. You know. There you have it. This is the 4K. This is the Blu-ray. So you can see that they look fairly similar. See if I can get these out. In terms of the contents, Blu-ray version, you got your Blu-ray, the comic book, and the disc with a Creepshow 2 booklet. And I believe the identical nature is the same with the 4K one. So we'll have a look at that. All right, guys, here's the 4K. You got your disc, and you can have this. You can have the purple art on the other side with this. So you can't. This is what I'm saying. If they would have made the box purple, that would have been cool for the. You could have that purple art on there, or reverse it to that poster art, which everybody loves the Creepshow 2 poster art. My 4K is obviously in there right now. I got a wild style card, and then here it is, the Creepshow 2 booklet, which should be identical. Yep, absolutely identical to the other one. There you have it. Is that creepy old guy? And like I said, 4K disc is in there. And you also get this booklet, the Creepshow Pinfall, also Tales of Terror. The cool comic book. I always like stuff like that. You know. So there you have it. But that's all identical. I mean, they didn't change really much at all. The only thing they changed was essentially the skin tone of the box, if you will. Like I said, the 4K is just a little bit brighter. So what I did with this is I decided I was going to pop in my Blu-ray and watch that. And I did. I popped in the Blu-ray. And it was interesting. I was watching it, and I was like, okay, I know this says... I looked at the back. It did say 2K scan. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say that Blu-ray looks bad at all. But I remember thinking to myself as I was putting it on earlier this morning, I was like, I wonder if that was from the Interpol... Like, what was that from? And then I looked at the back. It said 2K scan from original film elements. And I was like, man, like I feel like I've watched a lot of 2K releases, and I thought some of them look better than this. It doesn't look bad by any stretch, but I was like, I don't know. So I was just trying to put it on, and like I had it in my PS5 and tried it there, then put it on in my Sony player, and I was like, okay, you know. And then of course I watched the movie on 4K, and I was like, oh, this does look really great. I felt like it was about the same graininess, but it was super crisp. Going back to the Blu-ray, it's not that I thought it looked bad necessarily, but I felt like what I'm assuming is two things. This was 2016 when they did that Blu-ray, and I don't know what the condition of whatever that elements were that they used to do that 2K scan back then. So yeah, there's a better picture quality when you watch the 4K. I do think it looked great, and I thought the level of sharpness was out of this world. Especially when you see the green car pull up in the beginning at the general store when it's the Native American coming in, his buddy, Benjamin. All that looked fantastic. It looks like a great 4K. And I didn't even know that. I thought the negative to this movie was kind of missing, to be honest with you. I guess it's not. And the raft as well looked fantastic. That entire sequence is outside in the bright, beautiful sunlight, which I think the raft looked the best on the Blu-ray too. But yeah, the raft looked phenomenal. I mean, the entire thing is out there in the beautiful outside, as you could see. Just nothing but pure, real sunlight hitting those cameras. And that looked fantastic. I was kind of worried that that nasty blob thing was going to look super cheap and ultra high definition, but it ended up, they did a pretty good job on the makeup of that thing, so I'll give it to them on that. So overall, the picture quality on the 4K, I mean, I definitely give that one 2 thumbs up. I'd give the Blu-ray 1 thumb up, but again, I just think a couple reasons. Like, if that was a 2K that they did, like, today, however they do their process is probably a lot better. The way they encode stuff is probably better. The 4K definitely also has time on its side. So, and another big thing about this was, I'm assuming it's cropped in a little bit. There's a framing issue, apparently, with the Blu-ray version of Creepshow 2 for that Blu-ray, because I remember either Cliff said it in one of those interviews, or I just heard him say it, like he kind of said, I think Creepshow 2 had been announced. They had done a sneak peek, and he was like, yes, we fixed the framing issue. I think it was on the interview we had with him, but it is out there. I remember a lot of people asking that when the 4K was announced, and people were like, or they were saying, I'm glad they fixed the framing issue. So that's that. That's really cool that there's no framing issue anymore. Another thing is, I believe the Blu-ray version only had 1.0 audio. Yeah, it was a mono track on the Blu-ray version, and this one, the audio, I remember, I liked, I don't know what it is, I really like 2.0s. This one has a 1.0, 2.0, and a 5.1, so it's better audio on this as well. It's one of those things, it's like, here's the deal. I could talk to you about picture quality, and I could talk about that. I think a lot of people are just kind of bummed that these look identical, and they wanted this to look even remotely different. The reality, in my opinion, is this. What means the most to you? Is it picture quality? Is it audio? Is it packaging? Or is it a combination of all those things? You know, that's something you as a consumer, when it comes to this stuff, you have to think about. There's a lot of ways you could do this. You could say, you know what, I watched my Blu-ray version, and I'm happy with the way that looks. Whatever framing issue there is for that, it is what it is. It doesn't really bother me. And that's fine. You know, the picture quality on this, like I said, 4K from the negative, I really did thought it looked fantastic. And in terms of the framing, that's gone in this, apparently. You know, there's no framing issue with this. And the picture looked great. And the different audio options, I think, may be the biggest thing with this. You know, a lot of people, like, they got all these sound systems and they got these speakers and stuff, and the idea of using mono probably doesn't sound that appetizing to them. It can be in certain instances, but this having better audio is really cool. And there's a lot of different variables you can go. In terms of special features, this probably goes without saying, but they have the same stuff. I'll kind of show you a picture back to back on them. They've got the Nightmares in Foam Rubber, the Greg Nicotero stuff, the George Romero interview, which God rest his beloved soul, which I think he passed about a year later, and stuff like that. You know, like I said, they did have the same booklets and all. It really just depends on what you're looking for as a consumer. If it's picture quality, you know, you could do one of two things. If you want this, go for it. And if you want to say, well, I don't want to rebuy all the packaging and the booklet again, well, they'll have a standard version of this that you can easily probably get in a couple months if you want. Or even, I don't know if you're able to just get a standard version right away, or you have to wait for the limited to sell out. That's something I'm not too sure about, to be honest with you. I think they just sell it limited, and then once it sells out, then the standard version comes after that, you know. But you got to weigh your options and do like that. My thing is this. I do like the picture quality on the 4K a lot. Like I said, the Blu-ray, I don't want to rag on it. I really don't want to rag on it, but I was thinking to myself, I feel like I've seen a lot of 2K releases that looked better than this. And I got to remember, this is a 9-year-old Blu-ray release. So I'm sure, like I said, the way they do their remasters, the technology they have to do it with, and the film elements are probably a much better circumstance with the 4K. So that's going to be it, guys. If you don't own this whatsoever, no brainer. This is a fantastic release. If you do own this, weigh your options and see what's the most important to you, whether it be audio, picture quality, or packaging. Just, you know, you're the consumer. You decide that. I'm just here to tell you what I think about this whole thing. I give this release 2 very solid thumbs up, and it's Creepshow 2, so it is a classic. So there you have it, guys. That's my thoughts on the Creepshow 2 4K. And let me know if you guys have any more questions. If I didn't answer anything, I'll do my best to try to get you an answer to it. For now, this is your old pal CHH. God bless you guys, and I'll see y'all next time. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.